the Overman Warrior Podcast.
Hi, Rich Hoffman here. I've told the story how I blew a couple tires on my RV on a recent trip, and I had to get them repaired. So I was working on the RV and changing those two tires out on my RV in my driveway, and I had the radio on, and I had WLW on, and it was definitely Ken Brew covering a 12 to 3 slot on a Saturday. Definitely Ken Brew. And I think it was before the ball game with Cardinals. And I'm pretty sure I heard my old friend Jim Renacci on there. I think it was him. I didn't catch it. I was in and out of the garage getting sockets to put the wheels on. And, I wasn't constantly there. I heard enough. And it doesn't matter if it's Jim Renacci or not. It's kind of what bothered me about as they were talking about Vivek Ramaswamy's campaign and John Husted, and they were taking this is why I don't have a relationship with WLW anymore. They chose that because we used to do a lot of levy stuff. They had a lot of Tea Party people involved in programming and the talent, and they kept the corporate types that would buy to the new corporate logo of Clear Channel, which is we want to be middle of the road sports radio. They call themselves news radio, but they are very anti-Trump. They typically are. Bill Cunningham hasn't been anti-Trump, but he hasn't been exactly for Trump. And then Scott Sloan definitely is he's a Tucker Carlson type. I used to like him quite a lot, and over the years he definitely migrated into a never Trumper type, which definitely is not where I'm at. And I had a lot of these beliefs when they were making their corporate change. And if you wanted to stay on the air, as Clear Channel cracked the whip on them, cracked down on what kind of content they put out on their airwaves, they would definitely lean more liberal. So I don't listen to them much. I usually have the radio on in the garage. And if I'm in and out and I'm working on stuff around the house, I hear little bits here and there, but I don't catch it much. I know Ken Brew. So I knew it was Ken Brew on there, and I know Jim Renacci, and I'm pretty sure it was Jim Renacci he had on as a guest to talk about politics right now. And this person was talking because he had ran against Sherrod Brown at some point, and he was saying what John Husted has to do to win. I disagree with almost everything that was said. This is why people like this guy that Ken Brew had on, and they had him on because that's the safe message. They were taking polling that was taken from all the liberal side to kind of promote it because they're out there broadcasting. Here's the deal, and this is why I'm talking about it. I have no worries about Jim Renacci or about John Husted. I came out in favor of Jim Renacci. Jim Renacci did not do what he needed to do to win his race against Sherrod Brown, and I told him that much. I was at a Miami University event with him, and where he's present, he had a debate against Sherrod Brown. And he's like, how'd I do? I was like, you should have hit him harder. He's giving you all kinds of things to tee up on. Trump showed that you can win. The way to win these battles is to attack your opponents, no matter who they are, even if they're Republicans. Attack. That's what gives voters something to go vote for. If you're just going to play nice, they're not going to vote for that. They're not going to go out and vote. And the Democrats are going to, the polling will stick the way that they project it. But Ken Brew is citing polling from polls I've seen that are definitely favorable to Democrats towards Sherrod Brown and Vivek Ramaswamy, as if Amy Acton has a path to win. And that it's an uphill battle for the Republicans. They always play the victim cycle, and that's the part of the corporate bit. Because the secret, and this is, I know this from personal experience with Clear Channel Radio, you got to remember, they're in business to sell advertising dollars. And they have a whole, at that, what Scott Sloan calls the Death Star, the floor they have the WLW and 55 KRC on at the Death Star, at the Kenwood complex they have. They have a very large open room full of cubicles. That's their sales department. And they're out there selling revenue. And I know I bought ad time with them before, so I know the process. I know how it works. I've actually hired Bill Cunningham to be the spokesman for a product that I was putting out. This was back in the 90s. So it's been a while. But I do have personal experience with the whole thing. I understand the game. And the game is selling ad time. So the belief is if you don't outraise your opponent, if Republicans don't spend more money on ad revenue than Democrats, then you're not going to get a fair shake. And Trump showed that that was not the case. He broke the mold. When it comes to Vivek Ramaswamy and John Husted, the way to win is to attack your opponents. There's a lot to attack Sherrod Brown on. There's a lot to attack Amy Acton on. And attack them, remind people why they're terrible, and you'll win. The polling shows them clearly out in front. Vivek Ramaswamy and Husted. Not the polls that they cited on WLW. So if you're just a normie, what I call normies, if you're a normie and you're out washing your car and working on cutting the grass, and you listen to the same WLW broadcast, they're out there saying Republicans are in trouble because they didn't spend enough ad revenue on Clear Channel to win. If you don't buy your media host, you can't get there. Total nonsense. And I was surprised to hear Renacci say it. Renacci also said one of the dumbest things I think I've heard in years. He said to Ken Brew, and this is based on his failed attempt to knock off Sherrod Brown. My good friend Bernie Moreno was successful at it. And I remember Bernie Moreno, I got invited to a sit down, a lunch, where Bernie Moreno wanted to talk to influencers. We sat down at a place. It was a good lunch. And first question Bernie Moreno asked me, "All right, Sherrod Brown, what do you think?" He says, "Here's where I think." He said, "Here's where I think he's vulnerable." And he was right. He was good. And I knew Bernie Moreno's campaign guy, smart young man, full of vinegar, to put it nicely. I know a lot of these types. They're good young men in their 20s that they have their foot on the right button. They have the finger on the right buttons. And this guy, we were very close. I think he became somewhat of a fan of mine during Bernie Moreno's campaign. And they listened, and Bernie Moreno went. I think it's his nature anyway. I'm not going to take credit for Bernie Moreno winning, but he didn't not listen. He didn't listen to people like Bernie, or he didn't listen to people like Jim Renacci, who you don't listen to losers. Jim Renacci was saying, well, Vivek Ramaswamy and I have been talking a lot, and he's a good guy and he's listening. Don't listen to Jim Renacci. He lost. He lost all his campaigns. He does not have a winning mindset. Trump does. Just because you're wealthy, you can spend ad money or go out and raise some money to spend on ad money, to spend on ads at Clear Channel, doesn't mean you're going to win. What you need is to attack. Attacking is how you win these campaigns. Vivek Ramaswamy needs to attack Amy Acton, attack David Pepper ruthlessly. I'm happy to do it. And I know that during Bernie Moreno's thing, and he said to me when we first met, here's what I think he's vulnerable on. What do you think? And I'm like, I think you're right on it. You got the right idea. You're good in the South, attack him in the North, and you'll erode the base. It's all about Trump. Trump. And Bernie Moreno won when Trump was in exile. And Trump's endorsement of Bernie Moreno had weight even in exile, even from Mar-a-Lago. So Trump's going to endorse both John Huston and Vivek Ramaswamy. And on this stupid statement that Renacci said to Ken Brew, and I'm not, again, Jim Renacci sounded like him, talked just like him. There wasn't anybody else running against Sherrod Brown but Bernie Moreno recently. So I know that that's what they said, so that's why I think it's Jim Renacci, and it sounded like him. This person said to Ken Brew on WLW radio, the first thing that John Huston needs to do is distance himself from Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy. They need to distance themselves from Trump. Like, Trump's a baggage that's going to hurt them. Trump is your best friend. You want Trump to come and parade the state with you because there are a lot of people who want that still love Trump. That's probably the worst political advice I've ever heard. anybody that's supposed to know things. And Jim Renacci is a pretty big insider, and I think he represents what a lot of Republicans say, and that's why a lot of Republicans lose. And that's why when you see polling coming out from these Democrat pollsters that are out there trying to sell ad revenue, the whole goal is to say, hey, Vivek Ramaswamy, you're down a little bit. Spend another $10 million on our media outlet so that you can catch up 2 or 3 points. That's how the game works. The way Trump showed that you win it, and that's why everybody's trying to steer everybody away from Trump, because he won without spending endless amounts of money on ad revenue. He did his own media, created his own media, went to places like me that would talk about him. 40 or 50 different podcasts instead of just one 15-minute slot that costs you a whole lot of money. You do it on a podcast that broadcasts, get thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of hits, free of charge on YouTube and Rumble. That's how you get there. You're not going to get there the conventional way because the Democrats and the corporate media types control it. They control the whole thing. And the whole goal is to put out suppression reporting, down talk all that on Ken Brew's radio show. He knows how to stay on the air. He's been in media, on TV and radio for a long time, and he knows how the corporate guys think on the golf course. You know, it's all anti-Republicans, anti-Trump. They're all people that want to be. They're all wannabes like Fox News. We know Rupert Murdoch, how he is. We knew how Ted Turner was. We all know how Bill Gates, MSNBC, we all know they have an anti-Trump bit. They're very radical leftists, and they all want socialism, Marxism, because then that's what has migrated into corporate culture. A lot of socialism, Marxism, because you can control mass people through centralized authority. If you gain control of centralized authority through the management system, then you can run everything as a king. That's why they're so attracted to socialism and Marxism. And that's why a lot of these power players in corporate media, they get mouthpieces like Ken Brew, who will buy the corporate dialogue, not push back on it at all. And they'll poo-poo, they'll bring on people like Jim Renacci and say, you need to spend more ad money on our if you want to do well, you need to spend more ad revenue on WLW, Clear Channel Radio, in order to get there. Nope. Jim Renacci is wrong. John Husted is in good shape. Vivek Ramaswamy is in great shape. They can spend the money. It's fine. They're going to have the money to spend. Both of them are raising plenty of money at fundraisers. They're going to have plenty of competitive toe-to-toe ad time. That won't be the issue. You got to go on the attack. My good friend George Lang, he's pretty much won all his elections, and he's rose to power, and people look and say, oh, he must have done something. You know what? When someone challenges him in an election, he attacks like there's no tomorrow. He'll warn them ahead of time because he's a nice guy. Hey, I don't want to go here, but if you go there, I'm going to kill you, metaphorically speaking. And that's the way you got to be. You got to go out and attack Amy Acton. She quit when things got hot and she got really scrutinized for her lockdowns. She quit the DeWine administration. She gonna do the same thing when she gets under heat when she's governor. There's a lot to pick on Amy Acton over. She did a lot of things that were really stupid. And David Pepper he's her attack dog. He's very vulnerable. They're all very vulnerable. And I will help everywhere we're needed to help with that. They don't need to get too... Republicans don't need to defend themselves from accusations of corruption. Democrats have been more than a part of... The reason why Democrats haven't been part of some of the corrupt stories lately is because they haven't been in power. Because Ohioans are too smart to vote for them. They've been voting for Republicans, so it's always easy to criticize those who have a seat at the table or are in the arena. The Republicans have been in the arena, so if something goes wrong, of course it's going to happen in their proximity because they're the ones who've been in power. Democrats have caused, and I will prove it over the coming months, Democrats have been a cause of most of the corruption, and the Republicans get caught answering, just like Clear Channel's trying to do with Vivek Ramaswamy and John Husted. Spend more ad revenue with our station. We're going to poo-poo you on a Saturday afternoon analysis with Jim Renacci, who doesn't know what he's talking about, and Ken Brew, who will play the anti-Trump line and essentially adopt Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly's position, and play corporate media so we stay on air, and the corporate types will invite us to play golf with them on a nice Sunday afternoon or maybe a Monday afternoon. How aren't we great titans of industry? We are controlling the political machine through manipulation because we own the 50,000 watt flamethrower. And we have enough kiss-ups at our station who will toe the line just to stay on air because podcasting is where it's at these days, and these guys want to stay relevant on a corporate radio station. So they'll say anything. They'll poo-poo Republicans and say they're in danger so that Republicans will spend more ad time on Clear Channel properties. And that's not what's going to do it. Attacking the enemy is what's going to do it. That's how you're going to win. And my analysis of it shows that Vivek Ramaswamy and John Huston win easily, as will all the conservative positions. And it will and you want to run to Trump, not away from him. They were dead wrong in saying so, and just reveals kind of what the Never-Trumpers think about Trump. Because Trump won by not spending a lot of ad revenue on traditional media. He did it on his own platform. He bought his own media platform and used that as the flamethrower. And that's how you do it. Twitter, Elon Musk created a free speech platform that took away a lot of ad revenue from the traditional outlets. So, of course, a lot of corporate types are upset about it. And they want you to think that their suppression polls are showing the Democrats up, so you better spend more money. Nope, that's not how you get there. You get there by attacking your enemy. And that's how you make sure Republicans win. You don't play nice. Don't listen to the Jim Renaces and the Ken Brews on WLW on a Saturday afternoon. They are dead wrong. Smoking crack wrong. Attack. Destroy your enemy. And learn from those who have been very successful, like my good friend George Lang, Senator George Lang, and President Trump. He's in office for the second time after all has been thrown at him because he attacked. Playing nice is only going to get you lost. And that's what happened to Jim Renacci. He played too nice with Sherrod Brown. I told him that at that Miami University thing. After the thing, we were all talking out in the parking lot, and he said, "Hey, how'd I do?" I said, "I think you're too nice to Sherrod Brown. You left a lot of things about the domestic abuse that he's accused of on the table. You didn't hit him hard enough. He put it out there, and he challenged you to play nice. And if you get suckered into playing nice with Democrats, that's how you lose. Every time. Democrats play nice. Let's play nice together. And then I'm going to hit you real hard, and then you won't have time to react to it. And then that's how you lose because voters don't go out and show up on election day. Election day, not election month. They show up and vote for elections for people who fight to win, not who are playing nice and sandbagging, pushing. Don't play nice and you'll win. That's how you win, Republicans. Don't listen to WLW. Don't listen to Ken Brew for sure. And certainly not Jim Renacci. He's lost his big engagements. Even when a lot of us tried to help him as much as we could. He played too nice. And playing nice gets you lost. It'll get you lost almost every time. Make sure to hop in here, share, subscribe, make tomorrow a better day. If you ever read my book, The Gunfighter's Guide to Business, I think you'll love it. And we have a good day. See you later.
In the age of disclosure, you must understand the politics of heaven. Coming soon.
Coming soon. The politics of heaven in 2027. A treasure hunt through heaven and all human history.